Hey, what's happening? It's Nick with Lone Star Boot Reviews, and I'm here today with Tomasso Arditti from Tomasso Arditti Custom Boots. How you doing, Tomasso?
Pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing
Thanks for having me
well.
on.
Hey, thanks for reaching out to me and agreeing to talk to me today.
My pleasure.
So why don't we start? Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got into the boot making industry?
Well, I started about 30 years ago selling hair on hide cow leather goods. And then kind of wanted to expand my horizons and make boots and accessories. Was supposed to go to law school, didn't go. Um, I think I made the right choice. It's been a long journey, and every day is a new day and learning stuff. But we just try perfecting our craft to deliver the best handmade boots there are today. It's a little difficult being a small company. We don't get the notoriety as some of the bigger companies and some of the more expensive small boot makers. But we deliver the best possible boots that you can buy. Components, construction, workmanship, etc.
Right. So, how do you go from making the decision to you were wanted to go to law school and then you decided to go into boots? What was that decision like for you?
My family's all in law. My dad and brother and sister and niece and
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of lawyers in the family, and I planned to go that route. And then one day, like I said, I was selling hair on hide accessories, wanted a wallet, an alligator wallet. Realized that there was profit in it. So spoke to my siblings, and they told me to try this. And here I am 20 years later.
Wow. Um, so you got a pretty big honor a couple of times by being in the top 25 boot makers according to Texas Monthly Magazine.
Yes, sir.
I mean, how did that affect you and your business, and how did that come about? I guess.
Twice I was nominated without my knowledge. I was ecstatic that I guess my peers felt that I was worthy of that. Um, it's 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 a nice honor. It's nice to be recognized again. We do things the way they should be. When we say handmade boot, we actually mean it. Everything is done by hand, as
Right.
opposed to a lot of the companies, which most of the companies express that they make them by hand, but you walk into their factory and they have automatic machine welters, computer stitching machines, lasting machines, etc.
Yeah.
And I was looking all of our patrons to come in and check it out. We do it from hand picking the skins all the way to cutting, stitching on a regular machine. Tops are done freehand on a stitching machine. Lasting is done all by hand. The welt is hand stitched. Uh, you know, it, it's a little disheartening because a lot of the companies rely on their branding for saying handmade, and most consumers don't know the difference.
Right.
Um, and they put in a lot of sub quality components, and we put everything in that's the best. I mean, the best that we can find. I'll put
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah.
Linings, insole, outsole, heels, leathers, um, toe boxes are all made out of, they're all leather toe boxes. So, we strive to deliver the best possible boot that you can buy today,
Yeah.
employing old world traditions, literally,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is quickly evaporating. There are not that many people, but we're lucky enough to have some that are been doing this for 30, 40 years when they started at 15. So they're still, in their mid 50s, they're still healthy and good and happy, thank God.
Yeah. Still
Without
got
a
a long
happy
career
worker,
ahead of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
without a happy worker, you don't get a happy product
That's
or a
right.
good product, right?
Yep.
So we
So
try to keep them happy and, you know, deliver the best possible we can.
right. So you've made some boots for some pretty famous people. Why don't you give us a short list? I saw on there Marilyn Manson, Alice Cooper, and Steven Tyler, three of them.
Yeah, and all of the rest of Aerosmith. Made some boots for Mikhail Gorbachev, which I don't know if you knew who he is because you
Yeah.
seem quite young, but a lot of the younger viewers
Hey,
probably
I'm
won't recognize the
43.
name. He changed the world. Literally, he was
Absolutely.
instrumental in changing the world we know today, bringing down the Berlin Wall, ending the Cold War.
Mhm.
We made boots for Pope Francis as recently as a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Jack Nicholson, Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, wow.
Let me see. There's a whole host of them, and I really can't remember all of
Yeah.
them. A guy named Dick Grosso. He used to be the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange. Geez, I just kind of forget
Amazing.
all the ones.
Yeah. I mean,
They're all. The thing is, whether we make them for somebody like that or a person who doesn't have that notoriety, they all get the same quality boot. There's no
right.
difference. I mean,
Yeah.
they all get
Awesome.
top quality
Yeah.
in workmanship and skins. I mean, our name is on the boot, and I'm not going to send anything out that does not meet my criteria for a well-made boot.
Yeah.
Just something we adhere to.
Yeah. I love country music, but I love rock and roll music too. And when I saw Marilyn Manson, Alice Cooper, and Aerosmith, I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's just for me being a
cool.
fanboy.
Yeah, no, it was quite an experience meeting all those guys and making boots for them, and their delight in those custom boots we made for them. I mean, for Marilyn Manson, I'll send you some pictures, but they were really nice, subtle, but they had the down the tops and then down the toe, or down the vamp. It was really cool. Then Alice Cooper, we did his famous eyes, if you will, on the tops and on the vamps. We had those tools. Pretty neat stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty neat stuff.
What's Marilyn Manson like in real life?
Super kickback, super chilled. When I gave him the boots, when I delivered them to him, I mean, he was like a little kid and said it was his first pair of cowboy boots, that his dad had boots. He always wanted some.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he asked me, can I take a picture with you? And I said, I guess. You're the star here, not me. It was kind of funny being asked to take a picture with me. One of the few times that I've been asked if I could be, photographed with someone.
Yeah.
But he was really humble, down to earth, very well spoken, a nice guy. I mean, pretty much most, well, not most, several celebrities have been really nice. Steven Tyler was an incredible person. He was one of the few that actually called up after and thanked me for the work, and he was a really nice guy. So was Alice Cooper. They're all pretty nice guys.
It's funny when you meet these guys. I've met a few, I wouldn't say rock stars, but fairly famous musicians. And, when you really get to talk to them away from all that, they're pretty down to earth people. They're just normal people, I mean, they perform and play a part and do all that stuff. But for the most part, the ones I've met were pretty nice guys.
Yeah, and that pretty much goes without saying, pretty much. Yeah. For the most part, there are some that a little full of themselves, but that's all across.
Yeah.
Lots of people
like in real life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So one thing that I heard you talking about with Jeremiah Craig that interested me was that you make, if it's like a real high-end pair of boots you're making, you'll actually make a fitter pair to send to the customer. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, if somebody buys a full gator, something fully tooled, more the upper end price-wise boots, alligator tooling and all that is not inexpensive.
Right.
So, for example, we make you a pair of alligator. If you order a pair of alligator boots, you'll send us your measurements, or you'll fly in, and we take the measurements. We make a fitter pair out of, bison, Remuda, cowhide, to make sure that the pair fits you. Make sure that the fit is right. So we'll send you that one. Of course, there's obviously one or two things that can happen. Either we hit it on the mark, which is most of the time, but of course there are times when it needs adjustments. I mean, this is, dealing with a foot and, 1/16 of an inch here and a little bit there on the ball of the foot or a callus, sometimes needs adjustment. So you'll get that pair of boots, put it on, you either do one or two things. You say it's perfect, or you tell us where it's not perfect. You send it back, we make the adjustments, send it back. Once it's perfect, then we go forward in making the actual alligator or tool boot or whatever it may be. But at the same time, that first boot, that first fitter boot is still a boot that you can wear every day. In fact, I'm talking right now with a customer who we made a pair of full gaiters for last year, and we made him a pair of fitter boots out of, I think it was bison with a Remuda top. He called yesterday. We were talking about making some more boots, and he commented he was wearing the fitters. And I was ecstatic, because that's the whole point, is they can have two pairs of boots.
Right.
One to kick around and the other one to wear all the time as well. But it's just a matter of insurance, if you will, to make sure that the higher end, more expensive boots fit out of the gate.
Yeah.
There's not something back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
So it's just something that and I think a lot of people do that as well, but that's something we do employ to make sure that the fit is right before we start cutting the alligator or the exotic hide. They say measure twice, cut once. Well, we measure 3-4 times just to make sure.
Yeah.
That way, because the fact is, somebody ordering a full gator boot, customized either with inlays or tooling, if we make them to their size, the probability of selling that pair to someone else is slim to none if they don't fit on the.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of much guarantee that they will fit. Otherwise, we're gonna need a pair of boots, and it's just as the size we are, we can't afford to be making mistakes like that.
Yeah, it's not like going to Boot Barn and returning a pair and they just turn around to sell it to somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. These are custom. They have all the nuances of someone's foot. Like I said, calluses, the ball, instep. They're made for that person. Like we made them for you. We made you a boot that had your name on it, all gator. The likelihood of selling that to someone else is, like I said, slim to none.
Right.
So we have to make sure.
Yeah.
So that's why we do that.
That's
and we give people a choice. I mean, it's not just, we throw something together. We give them a choice of, what skin they want for their fitter. I mean, it's like I said, it's usually a Remuda or cowhide or bison or something like that. That's going to last them a long time.
Yeah, that's cool. They even get a choice on the leather of the fitter. That's pretty cool. I didn't know people did that. I'd never heard that before, and I don't know. Seems like a good way to go about doing it, but it's also not. It's nice for the customer too to not have to send them back and forth across the country 27 times to get them right.
No, and like I said, they get 2 pairs of boots out of it, so it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I know you are your boots are handmade. What tools do you use? I mean, do you use sewing machines at all? I know you're not into laser stitchers and all that kind of stuff, but
no, I mean, for the cutting of the skins, we use your typical jailhouse shanks, if you will. The guys make their own knives, and I fondly refer to them as jailhouse shanks because they're made. They make them themselves. We use the old trusted Singer. I think it's a 3915, or it's an old Singer that we use for stitching. That's the machine we use. When it goes into lasting, I mean, that's to stitch the uppers together, top stitching, etc. It's the old Singer. When it goes to lasting, well, the laster has his own tools, his pinchers, his hammer. I mean, they're really, quite honestly, archaic tools. There's nothing fancy, nothing new. And when I say new, I mean, technology-wise or other.
Right.
I'm talking, an old shoemaker's hammer, pincers, and from there it goes to the finisher. He uses sanding wheels, the brushes. We do have a Landis that we sold the sole to the boot to. But I think that's, again, that is super old. But those are about the only two machines we employ.
Yeah.
The old Singer and that Landis.
That's cool. Yeah. In your opinion, so like, let's say somebody wanted to even do away with the sewing machine. How hard would that? I mean, is that even feasible?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it'd just
But
take forever, right?
oh God, I mean, to do top stitching,
Yeah.
that, I mean, that would be God, who knows how long.
Yeah.
You could theoretically stitch the vamp to the tops by hand, as well as close the sides. But if you get any kind of like toe medallions or top stitching or stuff like that,
Yeah.
you have to. You don't have to, but it would take forever.
Yeah.
And
It's just not really feasible not to. Yeah.
And the cost would be astronomical. I mean, there's a boot person that sells boots for $10,000 starting.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and that's not exotics.
Right.
I mean, I was stunned when I saw that the other day, that they would start at $10,000.
Yeah. And that's just for like a
But
bullhide or something.
yeah, with cap, and I was speechless. I mean, I don't know. Even who I consider the best, Lee Miller at Texas Editions, doesn't even come close to that.
Yeah.
Price-wise for a calf boot. And
Right.
I consider him a deity. To me, he's the master. He
Right.
said he apprentice under Charlie Dunn. He does everything himself. I think if he's not he is the best boot makers. And he doesn't even charge that much.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine if it was done by hand, if that same person was doing it by hand without machines.
30,000.
It'd be $50,000. I mean, which is, if they can get it, it's great.
Yeah.
More power to them.
Yeah.
But I just, seems kind of ridiculous. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, tell me about your client. Not your rock stars and Jack Nicholson, but your regular clientele of normal people. Is it more well-off people that are wanting a really expensive pair of boots, or do you do boots for working cowboys?
Well, our price range is about $975 on up to $25,000. And let me just say, $25,000. Let me preface it with this: is a 23 karat gold gilded boot. So not just calf, it's alligator, fully hand tooled tops and gilt in gold.
Wow.
There's everything in between, of course. But I think the most difficult thing, and our clientele age range spans, probably from 30 to 75.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is we really, our clientele is someone who appreciates the art. Because there's prices all over the place. Like I said,
Sure.
But who can actually appreciate what goes into the boot. We're very, very transparent. And I hate using that word because that's like the, go-to keyword nowadays. But, we're very transparent on all the materials we use. A lot of boots, they say they're handmade and with the best materials. The thing is, it's once a boot is built, you don't know what's inside of it.
Right.
And a lot of bootmakers will say they're, with the best materials, and luckily we've had the opportunity to tear some down. And they have plastic toe boxes, or they'll have celastic toe boxes, or the heels that are leather composite, the Robus heels. Sometimes they even have cardboard insoles, or it's a cardboard composite insole. It's just, so
And
we
that's not
tend to.
necessarily from cheaper lines of boots either, right? I mean,
No,
people have found that kind of stuff
no.
in expensive off the shelf boots.
Yes. And they're billing it as, the best materials. But and like I said, you can't, once the boot is built, you can't tell
Right.
unless you tear it in. And like I said, we've had the opportunity to tear some down, and, I was shocked that they had plastic toe boxes or Celastic instead of leather, Robus heels instead of full leather. I don't know what you call it. It's some kind of a board for the insole instead of leather. But again, unless you tear it down, you can't tell. And those are very high-end, expensive off-the-shelf boots.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's, I guess, a risk you take. I mean, I don't know how else to give you an analogy. I mean, I'm trying to think right now. It's like if you're going to buy a Ferrari with a hood that didn't open. You're going and buying it, and it's got a Yugo engine, or a Chrysler engine, but you can't look under the hood because it's locked.
Yeah.
Same thing. You're just seeing the outside of it, not so much what actually goes into it.
Right.
But that's what a lot of companies depend on, is their reputation, and and the fact also that a lot of them say they're made in the United States, or so many big brand boots now are being made in Mexico, which there's nothing wrong with Mexico.
Right.
Hell, I would like to move to Leon and build down there. I mean, they have phenomenal craftsmen, but they're making them down in Mexico, and the labor is 1/10, 1/20th of what it costs up here, and it's all mass produced. So I think a lot of the honesty is not there.
Right.
Of manufacturing.
Yeah.
That's why we make it a point to educate our consumer, our clients, what's going in. And again, we invite everybody in. I mean, if they want to come and watch the process, they're more than welcome to. We don't have anything to hide here. I mean, it's all right here in-house under one roof.
What's your favorite leather to work with?
Alligator. That's, people ask me, and it's timeless, it's classic, it's elegant, it's super durable, and it's just beautiful. I mean, I have boots that are 20 years old that are just as beautiful today as they were the day we got them off the finishing bench.
Yeah.
There's so many combinations: tail cut, belly cut, hornback, hornback tail cuts, bias cuts. It's a beautiful, and again, there are no two pairs ever alike.
Right.
It's like a human fingerprints. You get a pair, there's no two pairs ever alike.
Yeah.
So that's nice as well.
Yeah. My dad had a pair of alligators in the early to mid 80s. He bought them when they were really expensive, even back then. And that's always been in my head. Ever since then, I always wanted a pair of alligator boots. And now that
my love for alligator came. My grandfather had alligator shoes, back in the 30s. Obviously, I wasn't alive back then.
Yeah.
But, as he got older, he always had his alligator shoes and alligator belt, and his alligator wallet. Always. I mean, that was a staple of his wardrobe.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, you can never go wrong.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It doesn't go out of style, it's timeless.
Exactly. And, you can dress it up, you can dress it down, khakis, jeans, a suit, a tux.
Yeah.
Literally, it is very versatile all the way around.
Yeah. Is it tough to work with, like lasting process? I know some leathers are tougher than others to get right.
You know what? We only use, or unless it's called for otherwise, we use a matte alligator, which has a finishing process where it's nice and supple.
Okay.
It's not any more difficult than anything else, really, than the other leather, other than Stingray. Stingray's, has, I would say, the least amount of give.
Okay.
You got to cut it right, and it has some give, but not that much. But alligators, it's always a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, and it ends up looking so nice every time.
Yeah.
And it lasts forever. I mean, like we say, we make heirloom quality boots because, if you have a pair of boots and you have a son or daughter or something, and, if by chance they wear the same size shoe or boot as you do, literally they can wear them, after you finish them. I mean, they'll be around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Hey, it's an investment. It's an investment, but a justified investment.
One thing that I'm in a lot of Facebook groups for, boot collectors and everything, and people are always talking about how to condition this or condition that or take care of your boots or whatever. You as a boot maker, what advice would you give to people for caring for like an alligator boot? What products should they use?
I'm going to buck the trend.
Okay.
Because we use alligator. I mean, we hand select alligator. We don't just go buy a lot, as in, 20 skins. Every pair of boots, I go and hand select the skins we use. We don't have anything. We don't keep anything really in stock for the most part. Everything's matte. I personally have a good 10, 12 pairs of alligators. I don't do anything to my alligators.
Really?
Literally. I have a pair that's 17 years old right now. I had my workers made them for me when my son was born. It's cognac alligator, matte finish.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it has a little bit of a sheen, because matte pulls a little bit of sheen, but it's not like the classic.
Right.
So that's why we pretty much exclusively use matte, because it stays soft and supple. Now, where you buy it from, the tannage, that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
We buy our skins and we buy them matte for a reason, because they don't dry out. I mean, honestly, like I said, that pair of 17-year-old boots, they'll sit in the closet, say, for 6-8 months. When I get out of the shower, I literally get my damp towel and wipe them down and go. And they're just as soft today as they were 17 years ago.
Wow.
And that's with only alligators. I mean, I've got alligator shoes. I wipe them down. And they've never gotten stiff, hard. They've never cracked. So a lot has to do with the quality of alligator that the company's using. A lot.
Yeah.
In fact, it has everything to do with it.
Yeah.
Everything to do with it.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, I've heard of Bickmore.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it's good. Never used it.
Right.
I just use my towel with a little bit of that's damp, but that's how I do it.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people just live and die by the conditioners and everything, and I don't. There's nothing wrong with that. Me personally, I'm too lazy to do it all the time. I buy my boots to wear them, and
with a well-made boot and a conscientious bootmaker that puts in a good skin, you shouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
That should be the last thing you worry about, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just, I've seen that, and I've seen boots crack and this and that. And if the right skin is being used, you shouldn't have a problem. I'm not going to say you won't, but you shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah. But, when you're talking mass-produced boots, I mean, who really knows how good the leather is they're choosing and picking? Probably a lot lower quality than you're using, because, they're wanting to make them as cheap as possible and sell them for as much as possible, so.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, in case you hear that noise in the background, it's the guy using the tape gun. It's not me, any bodily functions, any flatulence. It's the tape gun.
It sounds a little too high-pitched for that.
I'm sorry?
It sounds a little too high-pitched for that, to be mistaken as a bodily function.
Just wanted to make sure that you weren't thinking that.
Oh, well, I got one more question for you, and I think
Sure.
you already answered it earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it anyway.
Sure.
Um, what bootmaker, who do you look up to as a bootmaker the most?
Lee Miller.
Lee Miller. Yeah, that's what
That's
you said
just
earlier.
for a plethora of reasons. Nice guy. I've met other bootmakers that are considered the best. Not nice, not personable, very protective, uh, very suspicious of everything. You can't ask him a question. Lee Miller, we talk. I ask him questions. Never told me no.
Yeah,
Um, and like I told Jeremiah, it's a difference between being confident and secure as
yeah,
opposed to not being.
yeah.
And he's just a wonderful guy. He's who I look up to. I mean, studying to the best. He's making, in my opinion, probably the best boot out there. Um, yeah, hands down, Lee Miller. Nice guy, great guy.
Awesome. All right. Well, why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you if they're interested and want to check out your stuff?
All right. Well, our website is Tomasso Arditti, TOMASSO, and then Arditti, ARDITTI.com. Our You can call us at 915-996-1082. We answer the phone Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook. We're now putting out different pairs of shoes and boots is ready to wear. We're listing them, and you can order those in the sizes that we have them on. If you like them, we don't have the size, we can, make them up for you. And give us a call. I mean, we try to make this a very enjoyable experience, taking you through the process, bringing you along and showing you as it goes, through the process. So you're not in the dark. But give us a call. We'll be happy to take care of you. And if you have any questions, give us a holler. That's what we're here for.
And I'll put all that info down in the description as well. And yeah, give him a call, man. I talked to him on the phone last week, and he's a funny guy. You'll get along with him just fine if you're interested in boots.
Funny like hell. Like a clown, it's a joke.
Hey, let's not go all Joe Pesci on me here.
I'm glad you caught
What, like I'm a clown?
it. Funny like a clown? What?
Yeah.
Do I amuse you?
That's awesome.
He's a paisan. He's a fellow paisan, another Italian.
There you
I
go.
had to jump on that.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And check out my Patreon link down below. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.